Welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level ESL lesson. Today we're going to be doing a writing lesson. You're going to be practicing all of the skills that you learned in the previous 3 videos and putting those together to be able to write a letter to someone who is renting your home. So have you rented accommodations like this, either maybe through Airbnb or Verbo? And what do you think about home sharing sites? And you can put your comments in, you can put your ideas or your answers to that question in the comments. And do you agree with these people? We've been renting a room in our apartment for a long time. It's a great way to earn extra money. I couldn't share my house with people I don't know. It would make me feel uncomfortable. I tried renting like this a few times, but to be honest, the accommodation was always very different than the images on the website. And I always rent these kinds of places when I travel. It's the cheapest and most convenient way to get a room. So you're looking for a place in Truesdale. And what kind of place do you like to stay in? What amenities do you need? So Truesdale is a suburb of Granville. You are attending a conference in Granville, and you need a place to stay for 3 days. So what are you looking for? So some of the things might be a comfortable room, a well-stocked kitchen, close to public transportation, or a quiet neighborhood. So you're attending a conference and you want to discover something about Truesdale and Granville. What will you do? Here's La Fagado, a famous downtown cafe serving Italian gelato, the Truesdale Arts Center, Burdekin Park, and Fatouche, a legendary restaurant serving Persian cuisine. There's information that you find in a guidebook or on the internet, and then there's local knowledge. So think about your own town. What place should visitors go for a great meal? And again, you can put these ideas in the comments to generate some conversation. Where is an interesting place to visit that only locals know about? What unusual building or neighborhood is worth mentioning? And what tips can you offer to get around town easily? So while staying in someone's home has advantages, there are possible disadvantages too. So Paul says, I love home sharing, but I wish the homeowners would make sure the bathroom was pristine before they rent it to the next customer. Marcus says, what really annoys me is when people always make it impossible to find the Wi-Fi network and password, or their handwriting is so bad that you have to guess what the password is. And Armel says, homeowners should mention if something doesn't work or is broken, especially the coffee maker. Half of the time, the coffee maker doesn't work. So apart from practical information about the house and entertainment options, what else do you need to know? What else do you need to know about the neighborhood? Here are some ideas, like the nearest supermarket, a bus or train stop to get downtown, the post office, or a taxi stand. So Carol and Patrick live in Teesdale and they rent out their home for short stays. What will you find in their neighborhood? You can look at the pictures. So you've just arrived. You've picked Carol and Patrick's apartment and you've just arrived. So rank these things in order of importance for you. And again, you could put your answers in the comments if you would like. How to get around in Truesdale, safety information, restaurants and cafes, supermarkets and local stores, the Wi-Fi network and password and entertainment options, and then anything else that you might like to know. So we're going to read the first part of Carol and Patrick's letter. You can pause the video and read this on your own, or you can follow along as I read. Welcome to Truesdale. First, 3 important pieces of information. The Wi-Fi network and password are located on the back of the modem on top of the fridge. Second, please use anything you find in the kitchen. You're welcome to use any of the spices, condiments, etc. Third, please don't open the small window above the sink in the kitchen. The window frame is falling apart. You can open the two other windows in the kitchen so you'll get enough fresh air. So does this letter use formal or informal language? And find some examples to support your idea. Well, it seems like it's fairly informal. Please use anything you find in the kitchen. You're welcome to use any of the spices. It's very simple language, so fairly informal, I would say. All right, so now complete the next part of the letter. Um, and you can pause the video, try this on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. As you have probably noticed, we live in a lovely leafy area with plenty of amenities nearby. If you turn left, when you walk out the front door, you will get to Oak Street. Then take a left onto Main Street, and you will be in the middle of everything. Just in front of you, you'll see our local sports center. To be honest, we have never ventured inside, but all of our neighbors think it's great. So from where you are, can you provide easy directions to the center of your own neighborhood? And what recommendations do Carol and Patrick give? Well, they talk about the sports center, and going to Oak Street, where you'll be on Oak Street in Maine, where you'll be in the middle of everything downtown. Okay, the next part of the welcome letter contains practical information about the neighborhood. Again, you can pause the video, read this on your own, or you can follow along as I read. There are 3 supermarkets within walking distance. The cheapest one is Rock Bottom Supermarket. I wouldn't recommend buying fresh produce there, but it's great for general groceries. Organics is the place to go for fruit and vegetables, but the prices are much higher. They are both on Main Street within walking distance of our place. The easiest way to get downtown is by bus. You can take either a number 7 or 12. The fare is $2.50, exact money only, and the bus stop is less than a 5-minute walk away. Just cross at the traffic lights on Main Street, and you'll see the bus stop in front of a Polish restaurant. So why do Carol and Patrick provide 2 options for shopping? Well, one is good for general groceries, and the other is good for fresh produce. And now that we have the internet, is it still useful to have information about public transportation? I think it can be. Sometimes the internet may not be available in all places, or it may be just easier if someone tells you so you don't have to sort through all the maps on the internet, especially for bus routes and locations. So I think it can be helpful. And then the final part of the letter: if you are looking for a restaurant, avoid the Polish place at the bus stop like the plague. One of my favorite restaurants is the Blue Truck, which is on Pine Street, a couple of blocks from the bus stop. Another great place to try is Cafecito. It's near Organics, and it has great breakfasts as well as awesome cinnamon rolls. Finally, it's a very safe neighborhood. You won't have to worry about anything, day or night. On that note, I'll let you go. Have a wonderful time, and thank you for choosing to stay in our home. Warm wishes, Carol and Patrick. So what idiom do they use, which means don't go there? They said avoid it like the plague. Do you find personal recommendations like this useful? And would you probably try one of these restaurants? And do you think it's necessary to mention the safety of the neighborhood? I think that can be important. Uh, that can be important to some people to know. I mean, hopefully you've already mentioned that, you know, in the information, and they know it's safe before they've rented your location. But it's probably reassuring to renters to have information about the safety of the neighborhood. So now you're going to pretend that you are renting your house on a home sharing site, and you're going to write a letter that provides helpful information about your home and neighborhood. So answer the following questions to write some notes. Which adjectives describe your home and neighborhood? What are the most important things to know about staying in your home? What's the best way to get around the area? How safe is your neighborhood, and do you need to mention this? What are the options for buying food and drink? And are there good entertainment options? All right, so you want to write the first draft of your letter, and remember to write in a friendly, informal manner. And this is the structure to help you. You're first going to welcome the guests to your home and wish them a nice stay. Mention any important things about staying in the home. Is anything broken or not working correctly? Describe the best way to get around the area. What's the nearest train or bus stop? Which train or bus goes downtown? If I walk 200 yards, will I come to Main Street? Mention the location of places to buy groceries. What's the nearest place to get milk and bread? Suggest a couple of restaurants and cafes. Is there a great little Thai restaurant around the corner, for example? Suggest an entertainment option. What about that cinema that always shows old Hollywood movies? And is your neighborhood safe? Is it okay to walk alone downtown late at night? And then sign off in a friendly way. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, participate in the conversation in the comments, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.